Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. But who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And who is he? Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm board-certified criminal defense lawyer Bruce Rivers with our content genius Michael Rivers, coming to you from Minneapolis wearing our pearl handle pistol cufflinks. Today we're going to talk about the Brooklyn indictment. 32 alleged gang members in Brooklyn-based gangs charged with 140 counts, including conspiracy to commit murder. This is an indictment that involves Sheff G and Sleepy Hollow. So before we get to that, this is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.com is a very effective way to remotely do business. Let's say you are a notorious gang member and you know you're going to be, and you've got millions that you're making in music, but you decide to dip your toe in the criminal water because that's where you dwell. And you realize you just got indicted, so you need to have power of attorney to take care of all the stuff that you need on the outside. So what do? You go to eSign.com and have your mother or whoever you got for power of attorney. You download the app. You get 3 free signatures a month, and you have the eSign, because if it's not eSign, no one signs. So eSign.com, and I use it all the time when I have a retainer agreement or somebody from out of state or just can't make it to the office, or you want to do it quickly, you can preserve a business deal fast with eSign.com. So let's get into this. So here, remember, I've been telling you guys this for a long time, probably since we started our channel, that this is going to be a trend, and it is a trend, because in Minneapolis recently, they plucked 45 guys off the street, 45 guys in the same RICO indictment federally. This one that we're talking about today with Sheff G and Sleepy Hollow involves 12 shootings, 13 victims, including 1 fatality, and 3 innocent bystanders. Now, it involves a lot of guns, and you got a guy like Sheff G who's making millions and funneling, that money to buy guns and to recruit people to do violence. One of the things that this trend, they've done this now in Atlanta, they've done this in New York, they've now done it in Minneapolis, they're going to do it in Chicago. They're going to pluck these guys off the street. And some of these guys are looking at life because there's a homicide that's involved. Now, if you go back, we did a Sheff G reaction. He's talking about not seeing these Suburbans. First of all, I drive a Suburban, and I have for over 20 years, and I love my Suburban. But he's talking about ops driving those Suburbans. I believe the ops here are gangster disciples. If you recall, go back and take a look at my No Suburban Part 2. There's a lot of self-snitching in that video.
Gang is linked to 12 shootings and 1 murder, which was caught on camera.
How many shots did you hear? So here's the thing. When you have a conspiracy, let's talk about what a conspiracy is just to begin with. A conspiracy is really simple. It's just an agreement between 2 or more people to commit a crime and any kind of act in furtherance of that crime. So if we agree to commit a crime and we buy some duct tape, for lack of a better word, that conspiracy is completed. So and you're just as guilty of the substantive offense as if you committed it, even if you don't complete the crime. The conspiracy itself is the crime. Now, and anything you do to further that conspiracy, even if it's in a small way and you're not a big player, you're still on the hook for the acts of not just you, but your co-conspirators as well. So what that means is, even if you don't even know your co-conspirators, you got 32 guys. Some of the guys might not even know each other, but they're all part of this conspiracy, and the law on it for defendants is awfully bad because it's really easy for a prosecutor to prove that there was a conspiracy. And what's going to happen in this case, like I assume in a lot of these cases, is people are going to start falling off. In other words, snitch central. So 32 members of the 8-Tray Crips and its affiliate 9 Ways gang are named in the 140-count indictment for allegedly committing shootings, possessing firearms, using stolen cars during shootings to eliminate their rivals, and including of Folk Nation gangster disciples and ICG babies. These are not new investigations. This isn't something they just decided, just fell into their lap yesterday. According to the New York Police Commissioner, Sewell, for more than 2 years, NYPD investigators have been working closely with Brooklyn District Attorney to do what they do better than anyone: keep the people and the communities we serve safe. This is a statement directly by Commissioner Sewell. The gang members indicted today may have thought that they could traffic in violence, intimidation, and fear with impunity, but they were wrong. Together with our law enforcement partners, the NYPD is tackling violent crime and violent criminals head on. And this case is just the latest example of our shared commitment to public safety of all New Yorkers. So here's some of the crimes that we're talking about: second-degree murder, second-degree attempted murder, second-degree conspiracy, second-degree criminal possession of a weapon, first-degree assault, first-degree attempted assault, second-degree kidnapping, first-degree assault. I mean, all these crimes, you guys, are things that some of them carry life sentences. So when you're sitting there watching drill, which we've reacted to a lot of drill on our channel, right? Because we know a little bit about drill, we know a little bit about the players, and I started out kind of talking about self-snitching because if you look at some of the biographical things that come out in some of these videos and some of the songs, they seem like they're self-snitching, right? And so that's what kind of drew me to begin with. Not to mention the fact that Michael's a fan of drill, but when you really think about what they're talking about and you really think about what they're doing, they're all putting themselves at risk with this behavior. And when I say behavior, am I really talking like a dad? I suppose I kind of am a little bit, and an older guy. And one of the things that you have, you like Sheff G, he's making millions off of his channel, right? Off of his music. But when you take those millions and then you shovel it back into criminal activity, you build something up to get out of there, and now you're tearing yourself back down and putting yourself at risk. And now he's indicted, and now he's in custody, and all these other 32 guys are in custody, and they're probably going to be denied bond. I would bet they're going to be in court next week, and they're entitled to have a hearing on bond. But when we're dealing with the intimidation of witnesses, the elimination of witnesses, you're going to have a situation where, the danger to the public far outweighs, the consideration of releasing these defendants. Here's some of the things that they've listed in the indictment. So during the conspiracy period, this is from March 2019 to the present, they've identified 27 incidents of violence and criminal activity, including 12 shootings, 13 victims, 1 fatality. 3 shooting victims were innocent bystanders. Now, I've got a case right now where Mike Klein and his buddy, where they see this stuff. They see drill, and they act it out. He's 17 years old, and a shooting just happens, and they don't even mean to shoot anybody, but they knock a window out and shoot a kid at a basketball court, and the bullet went right through him. And they're trying to be cool. And this is even dumber because they didn't even have any ops. They didn't, there was no reason behind it except for that they're just trying to be cool and act out what's in the videos. So on April 5th, it's alleged that the members of the ICG Babies gang shot at Williams, that's Sheff G, mansion in Short Hills, where he and his closest 8 allies lived. Over the next several months, Williams and some of the other defendants allegedly embarked on a campaign to seek revenge against the rival Babies gang and 8 member who they believed betrayed Williams by giving the rivals his address. You cannot exact revenge and have it be legal. Some states have stand your ground states, but once the threat's over, like somebody shoots at your house, you can't then go back and retaliate. That is illegal. So on April 6th, the very next day, it's alleged that video surveillance captured a black Jeep Trackhawk, which is registered to Williams, Sheff G, driving on Canton Avenue in East 18th Street, eventually parking on St. Paul Street. Defendant Martinez, Defendant Darden, and Defendant Austri exited the vehicle walked to Caton Avenue and East 18th Street and allegedly opened fire in the direction of a rival and struck two innocent bystanders, a 53-year-old man and a 43-year-old woman. They allegedly fled the location and entered the Trackhawk where Williams was allegedly the driver. So he's a getaway driver. So what's going to happen with Williams is he's kind of supposedly at the top of this. Whether he is or not, I don't know. But the people, what they do is they chisel away with the young ones, not the young ones, but the lower fruit, for lack of a better word. And they say, look, you are fucked. If you cooperate on the higher ups, we'll give you a break. And that's how cooperation works. But let me just tell you something. If you accidentally shoot somebody, but you meant to hit somebody over there, there's a thing called transferred intent. So whatever your intent was for that guy, even though you didn't mean to hit that guy, your intent for that guy transfers over to this guy. So I had a case last fall where we tried the case, and my client meant to shoot just one person, and pop, and he hit 7 other people. Actually, 8 other people. Shot a kid and killed a kid about a block away. Didn't mean to hit him. And my client was being shot at. The intent to kill the one guy that was in front of him is transferred to all the other people that were hit. And when that happens, you've got attempted murder on really 7 other counts. So when they talk about, hitting an innocent bystander, what you're talking about is actually, I meant to kill you, so attempted murder. Now you've got 3 attempted murder charges because you've got the transferred intent on the 2 people who are innocent bystanders and your intended target. We see in the video what happens, and this is part and parcel of what we're talking about. And there is a trend to want to stop this gun violence. And this isn't just your normal gun violence. This is, I think, primarily confined to gangs amongst themselves, and their rivals. But, when you have innocent people being intimidated, being hurt, it becomes a huge problem for the community. All of these guys are going to have lawyers, and this is a major case. And they're probably going to add counts as time goes on, because once they start chiseling away at the lower guys, more stuff is going to pop up. Chef G paid cash for the group of 9 that he treated to dinner at a high-end Manhattan steakhouse in October 2020. Prosecutors say that the festive dinner was a reward for carrying out a shooting against a rival gang 2 days before, and that left 1 man dead and 5 others injured. Chef G, whose real name is Michael Williams, was celebrating the score, the Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez said at a news conference. One of Mr. Williams' musical collaborators, Tegan Chambers, also known as Sleepy Hollow, was there as well. It just kills me because, between these guys, they have generated over 100 million views and streams on YouTube and Spotify, and they're among they're right there charged with everybody else. I mean, it's not like they're poor. No, it's bullshit. These guys have money, and they could be leading, instead of being, in that street life. And I suppose one of the conundrums that you have, right? Because to be popular on YouTube or, to have your music become popular, do you have to be authentic? Do you have to live that life so that, when you talk about the stuff he talks about in the videos that we reacted to, do you have to live that gangster life? Do you have to be that guy? Do you have to have Ops, Chef G, and Sleepy Hollow and their alleged gang associates tried to use Pig Latin to avoid being caught when talking about the crimes on the phone, according to prosecutors? Do you know what Pig Latin is? Onte ude ate. In other words, don't do that. And so, I mean, it's really not an unbreakable code. Used a distinct form of Pig Latin to show gang allegiance and to attempt to disguise the discussions of acts of violence, gun possession, or other gang business. We see that a lot of times, people talk in code. First 2 letters of a word is removed from its beginning and moved to the end of the word, followed by the phrase ogata. So agata or a, for example, shot becomes ache or achagata, and chop, meaning the firearm, becomes apche or apchagata. Gee, it's so clever. Like, nobody would fucking figure that out. My message to you guys, my message to every one of you guys who's into the drill and rap culture, it's not really rap culture, it's the drill culture. Think about what you're doing. You know, you don't need guns. You know, you don't need to be on the street with guns. You know, you don't need to be in a gang. This is happening, and it's going to happen more and more and more. The more violent the streets get, the bigger the net the government's going to get. And the government's got unlimited resources. So they can certainly do what they need to do. Is there something else you want me to do?
There's the article right next.
I'm going to talk to you guys right now. If you're between the ages of 18 and 25, actually, if you're between the ages of 12 and 25, you need to have a strong male role model. Somebody in your life that's doing it right, somebody that's not involved in criminal activity, somebody that's not going to prison, somebody that has a job, that has a family, that is there for their people. A man. You need a man in your life to show you how to do it and how to do it well. You don't need to go down the rabbit hole of carrying a gun, being on the street, dealing drugs, shooting ops. I mean, it sounds cool when you see it in the movie, or not in the movie, but in the videos. I mean, they do look cool. I mean, in a sense, it's shocking. That life is short-lived. It's short money. It's short for freedom. It's short for everything. And it's also risky for yourself, because you yourself will become a target eventually. When I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you fairly passionately from a couple of different perspectives. I am a dad, but I'm also a man in the community. But even more than that, I do this for a living. I see this every day. And guess what? When they build a case like this, they don't build a case like this with sketchy evidence, generally speaking. They've got all kinds of snitches involved in this thing, I guarantee it. They've got video. So you saw the video of the shooting that I just showed you. So I see this every day, and what my message to you is, I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to see you guys hurt yourselves, and that is really where I'm coming from. There are positive men in your community, no matter where the fuck you are. There are positive things that you can do, and it might be hard to get out of a gang. It might be hard to. I'm not going to say it's always easy. You know, if you don't have any money, I mean, it looks good because you got guys driving nice cars, and they seem like they got their shit together, and they got life. Guess what? That's short money. So I see this every day, and I'm just trying to give a forewarning to you guys to do something different with your lives. Okay, so that's enough preaching from me for one day. This has just been our reaction to the 8-Tray Crips and the 9 Ways Gang indictment. 32 guys indicted on 140 counts, and do what you got to do to keep yourself safe and have a tomorrow. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Patreon, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away.
23-hour lockdown, police is at my God.